show here. I can't wait to get into this one also. But I want to tell you, we are growing a lot, and we need your help. We need people that can help with maybe with graphics and blogs and social media, the newsletter. We're also putting together a nonprofit organization, a 501c3, where you can donate to with tax write-off, and it's the Cross-Dress Research Institute. So we're moving ahead with really getting involved in the depths of cross-dressing, and it's been all of you supporting us. And please subscribe, like the pages, like the videos, help us if you can. Join Patreon. That helps because we can always use the extra money so we can grow faster and help cover these costs. So with us tonight is Elizabeth and Melissa in the studio. So hello to the two of you. And our guest this evening from the Breast Form Store, which is back being a sponsor for us. And thank you so very much. We really appreciate that. And this is Eden is with us tonight.
Hey.
Hi. Hi, Eden. It's really good seeing you again. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
You look a little
Love
different
seeing you
there.
as well.
Yes. And what are we going to talk about tonight? Let's tell the audience.
Well, I've got three lovely ladies here, and we're going to talk about wigs.
Yes.
So there's so much to talk about and so many different aspects to it, and why are some $200 and some $20 and some $2,000, and what does that even mean? So kind of breaking it all down and pros and cons and what you actually need to spend your money on and what you can save on.
Yeah, this is what I like about it, because it's just, this is not a sales program. This isn't saying, oh, buy this thing, it looks good on you, whether it looks good or not. You just want to get a sale, and this is something that really resonates with you because you put that hair on, you look in the mirror, this is you. And a lot of us go through personality changes just by changes of wigs. Do you find that to be true?
Definitely. So I am someone who loves wigs. I love them. I think they're great. I have many. And it is very much one of those things that it's a confidence changer. So whether you're putting on, a short black bob and you're, edgy and you have that permission from yourself to be a little bit more of that bad girl. Or maybe it's long and flowing and blonde and you feel a little bit more, free-spirited. It is one of those things that it gives you the permission to embrace the look. And it gives you that permission to explore different sides of who you are without, going through the process of growing out your hair or dyeing your hair, cutting your hair. It gives you that freedom to explore without the challenges that come with actually, what is it like to shave your head really, really short and wear that pixie? Or what is it like to all of a sudden have hair past your shoulders?
Yeah. It's interesting. Just lady friend of mine, a number of years ago when I was starting to come out public she said, well, let's go wig shopping. So we went wig shopping and she was with me and she was helping out. I don't know anything, and she went and there was one that she really liked for herself. It was short, it was a bob, and she had long hair. I mean, down to her butt. But she gets this side of herself and she calls herself BB when she does this. And she's 5'1.5" and she's like a little firecracker. And she's just a whole different personality change. Fun. Oh my God. Yes. So I bought it for her and gave it to her as a present.
Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah. You can just see her glow. You can see the twinkles in her eye. And we have the same thing. Even though we're boys, hey, we're still there. We're expressing ourselves. So tell me a little more about wigs And the expressions. Do you find that you get some husband and wives, cross-dresser and wife, get on the phone or whatever and talk about wigs for both of them?
Yes and no. A lot of times it is one of those exploratory things. More often now, it's a little hard with COVID, but more often than not, when it comes to wigs and it's a partnership experience, well, that's when we'll find that they book a time and come into the office where we try different things on, because then you're actually seeing it. And that is definitely something very common. One of my first jobs before I was with the breast form store, I actually worked at a wig shop. Oh. So it was very, very common for partners to come in, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, whatever, that they'd come in and they'd try on a range of things together. And it's just fun and freeing. And you're like, oh, well, you know, I think you'd look good as a redhead. Well, I'll try the red hair, but whether or not I actually like it is a different story. And you never know, because the suggestions from that other partner might be, well, I would never dye my hair red, or I would never be a platinum blonde, but this wig gives me that permission. Or, you know what, maybe not that far, but maybe I'll put highlights in or something like that. It gives you that chance to explore. And it's so much fun. So much fun.
I agree. And I've had a lot of fun doing the wig thing before I grew my hair out. And I've thought about doing that again, getting a bob for me. And I was thinking about BB and doing it for me and, you know, putting my hair back. And because it does give you another personality and it's fun all over. So I wanted to know on the wigs, you know, we have human hair, we have synthetic hair, and everybody says, oh, this synthetic is great, that synthetic is great, and everything else. But I would think the natural thing is probably overall best, wouldn't it?
So this is one of those things that, again, it's personal preference. So let's maybe talk about the difference between synthetic and hair. Because there's huge variations within that. And then we can talk about kind of the pros and cons of both styles.
Well, and Eden, I kind of want to get into, I think this is along the same lines. It's Halloween, and the difference between a Halloween cosplay wig and a real wig.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of applies to the synthetic. There's like good synthetic and then not good synthetic, right?
Just like there's good hair and bad hair. So in the world of wigs, there's generally two rules of thumb. There's your hair, and I'm going to use that word vaguely, and then there's the synthetic. Now, synthetic can be just like your car, just like your shoes. There is a huge range of quality when it comes to synthetic, from your Halloween costumes to your full super high-end, high quality. And I have some examples here that we'll talk about in a little bit. They are generally some form of plastic material. It is something in there that's been formed to look like a hair follicle, but it's plastic at the end of the day. So most synthetics aren't heat safe. You have to be careful around the oven. They get frizzy and fried like melted plastic, because if they're around too much heat, like a curling iron or something, you will melt that plastic. So that is something that can happen with that synthetic style. Now, hair wigs, there's variations. I have seen many from, you can find, if you've got the money and you're gonna spend it, there's what's called Remy human hair wigs. And a Remy hair or a human hair wig means that someone has grown their hair and cut it for it to be donated to be sewn into a wig, or sold to be sold into a wig, sewn into a wig. Some you'll see advertised as virgin human hair, which means that that hair has not been dyed or treated in any way. It's been cut off somebody's head and put into the extensions or the wig, whatever that piece may be. Most wigs that you will find, even the really high end, are still a processed human hair. And what that means is they've taken all this human hair of varying lengths and it's gone through a sanitation treatment process, and then it's been dyed. So that's how you get, that even brown or the even blonde or the highlights or something, and then it's sewn into the wig. And just like there's different people on this planet, there's different hair types. And you'll find that there's the most expensive type of human hair wig out there is European Remy. And that is because it comes from someone of generally a Caucasian descent. And it's more expensive because it is easier to go blonde. Because blonde hair is a very hard hair color to get to. And it's a lot harder to go with certain ethnic hair types. It's very hard to get an Asian hair platinum blonde. And that's why you'll find the European Remy is so much more expensive.
Okay.
Now, to go backwards, just like there's bad synthetic, there's bad hair. Not to say that like there's an ethnic hair that's bad. That's not the case. There are wig manufacturers that will use animal hair. So I have what was sold to me as a human hair wig that I thought was awesome. And then I looked at it a little bit further and realized it's made from horsehair.
Okay.
So I've seen horsehair, I've seen goat. There's many different animals that grow their hair a little bit longer that, depending on the style, will be used. And sometimes it'll be blended with human hair, sometimes it won't. But at the same point, it is hair, it's not going to melt like plastic. So there are benefits and drawbacks to both styles.
That's interesting.
Wow. That's interesting.
I have some questions from our listeners online, and two of them are kind of related. Somebody mentioned that they've been seeing a lot of clip-on wigs, and then our friend wanted to know what was the best way to keep a wig on, and I think those are kind of somewhat related. So
definitely. So what is a clip-on wig, a 3/4 wig, a fall? They're all kind of words that ebb and flow. They all are referred to the same thing. They are probably my favorite type. It's more for someone who has longer hair. So not great if your hair is normally in a Caesar or a pixie, but if you have some length and say you wanted to quickly change your style, you want to go to that short bob, or you want to go to something long and flowing and curly, but you don't want to wear a full wig, that's what these are ideal for. So what it is it's kind of like a wig in the sense that it goes around your head, but rather than coming forward to your front hairline, it stops about 3/4 of the way back. And the idea is that you pull it back, pulling over so it's covering some of your own hair, and then you pull some of your own hair forward and you bobby pin it back so that you're blending the hairline so that your hair is covered but the wig is showing, and you're hiding the line of where the fall, the 3/4 wig is. They are very, very handy for women who don't want to do their own hair, aren't good at doing their own hair, want a quick change. They're really, really fun. I love them. But the one thing that is critical with those is it needs to be the same color as your own hair, because this side from essentially your temples to where that wig sits back here is going to be shown. So if you've got black hair and the wig is platinum blonde, it's going to be very noticeable that it's not yours. Whereas if you've got black hair and it's a black 3/4 fall, it looks incredible. So that is what a clip-on wig is. Okay. Now there are wigs that will have clips sewn into them to help hold them into place. That it's not the same thing as a clip-on or a 3/4 wig. It is just there for stability. To keep your wig on has to do with a couple different factors with the wig. So that means making sure that the size of the wig is the same size as your head. Most wigs are adjustable, so it means adjusting the straps in the back of the wig to make sure that it's sitting snug but not tight so that it hurts you. It is also additional steps, like if you do have hair, wearing a wig cap, securing the wig cap in place with a set of bobby pins. What that does is it keeps the wig cap in place on your head, but the wig cap gives some traction for the wig sitting on top so that it's not sliding on your own natural hair with its natural oils or silkiness, things like that, that will cause it to slide out of place. So wig caps are incredibly important. Beyond the fact that it makes wearing a wig way more comfortable, it does give you that security.
Well, I had
sorry, Jennifer.
just a little point. My first wig, I went all in, and human hair. It was Asian, and it was dyed to being red. I was a redhead, and it was about as long as my hair is now, I guess, or maybe a tad longer. And they made a shell of my head, and they sent that off, and then built the wig around that. And they put in a clip on each side, the front and the back, and they really held. I was in a lounge at a bar one place talking to cis ladies, and this one lady thought she would be smart and pull my wig off. So she went and pulled my body over. I almost fell off the chair, and I'll tell you, my hair did hurt because those clips held. And just a little story about my adventures with it.
And there are definitely custom wigs like that. That will always be the most comfortable, the most secure. Your wig maker will take in account your head shape, things like that, where your hair is the strongest to make sure that the clips are the most secure. So that is, if you're going to spend the money, you're going to go all in, that is a great way to go. It is a huge investment generally. It's not, a couple $100. You're looking generally at $1,000 or more. Even going with what is considered a less expensive human hair compared to European, it's still all hand done. At the end of the day, that a wig is generally still hand in certain regards. There's some stuff that they can machine, but a lot of it is done by hand, especially when you're working from a custom cast of somebody's head. So yes, that is very much something that when it's really secure, it is wild. There are wig tapes, double-sided tapes, roll-on adhesives and things like that are used. There's things called wig glues that are all designed for different types. So if you're wearing a lace front wig, there's generally a glue that you use to glue the lace down to get a really polished look. You don't have to do this. It is an option. Not everybody does it. I have lace fronts that I've never glued down because I haven't needed to, didn't feel like it. But it does depend. So it all comes down to the style. If you're wanting that sense of security, especially if you plan on, you're going to a rock concert and you're going to bang your head around and you're going to have a great time and you want that security, well, that's when that glue, that tape is probably a really good idea.
Are that are better for, because some cross-dressers have long hair and some do not. Is there one that's better for short hair versus a long hair? Or
not really?
We're going to have to save that answer for just a moment because we're going to have to take a little commercial break. And we have a wonderful commercial here, and it's from the Breast Form store. Wouldn't you know? Awesome. And we'll see you back in a few moments.
The Breast Form store proudly provides breast prosthetics, wigs, makeup, transformational clothing, and accessories for cross-dressers and transgendered women. Everything we do is conducted in a private, secure, and discreet manner. We have been dedicated to our community since 1993, and we only offer the highest quality products at the lowest prices. And we test all products to ensure their durability, function, and quality. We tailor everything to your specific needs. Our certified fitters are here to help you get the perfect fit every time, and our goal is to help you look and feel confident and beautiful. Visit us at thebreastformstore.com.
You might wake up some morning to the sound of something moving past your window in the wind.
And we're back.
And if
I
you're
guess we're
quick enough-
back. Thank you very much. Yeah, and don't forget our Patreon. And we really need you guys to join our Patreon page. You got some really great stuff up there. New content's always coming in, and we appreciate that. Help us out with a Starbucks coffee a month. Really helps us a big time. So we had a question.
And there's a ton of exclusive content on that Patreon as well. So you get extra information that you can't find on YouTube or the screens. So all the more reason for you to subscribe.
Jordan.
Thank you. Melissa, thank you. And Elizabeth, you had a question.
Oh, yeah. So I was kind of wondering if there's better wigs for people that have short hair versus people that have long hair, or vice versa.
So not really. I mean, there are certain things you have to keep in mind. If you have very, very long hair, when you pull your hair up and you're putting on a wig, your hair is going to increase the size of your head. So that is one thing to keep in mind. And if you have hair that's, down to your waist and you want to put on a very, very short little pixie like Jamie Lee Curtis, it's probably not going to look as beautiful as you want it to, because it's got to sit over all of that hair that's adding that. However, if you're going with something a little bit longer but still short, maybe it's got some layers or some texture or something, you'd be perfectly fine. So there isn't anything that specifically you need to look for, but just kind of keep in mind that it's more an issue of going from really, really long hair to really, really, really short hair with your wig that you need to be concerned with.
Okay. We had a friend, Ricky, she said on Facebook that she's grown out her own hair, so now she doesn't wear her wigs, but she's hanging on to them anyway. And now Ricky's kind of curious how long they will keep. Like, when she decides that she wants to cut off her hair one day and wear her wigs again, how long, what's the shelf life of a wig?
I have had wigs that I've had for more than a decade. So as far as I know, there isn't a shelf life in the sense that the synthetic or the human hair will go bad or anything like that. You may want to wash it if it's been sitting in your closet for a really long time, but that's about it. The biggest challenge that you will have is styles change and fashion changes. So if you've got a big curly fuzzy wig from the 80s and everyone's got sleek straight hair, that's going to be where you'll have more of a challenge rather than the wig's gone bad. It's not like an item of food that's going to expire.
Sure. Well, that brings me to our next question, which is one of our watchers was wondering, what is the best way to clean your wig?
So it comes down to the type of wig. So just like there's synthetic and there's human hair or hair, there are two different ways to wash your wig. Rule of thumb is if it is a hair-based wig, use shampoo like you normally would. So whether you're using a beautiful salon shampoo or you've got something from the drugstore, whatever's in your shower, great. That is a great option to use. However, if you have a synthetic wig, you don't want to use that. And I'm going to give you the example of when you're watching TV and you've got those commercials for the shampoo and they've got that follicle with the 3D lines of things circling and going into the hair and things like that. There's usually something about how it's, triple strength and moisturizing and gives you lots of body and shine and all these good things. Well, that is meant for a hair follicle. That is essentially keratin. That is because our hair is essentially kind of a hollow material. When we're talking about synthetic, it's a piece of plastic that is solid all the way through. It can't absorb nutrients because it doesn't need nutrients because it's plastic. So that is when it is critical to use a wig shampoo or a baby shampoo. That's my cheat. To wash it, because it just strips the dirt off and then you rinse it off and it doesn't leave anything on the wig. So when it comes to synthetic, you want to avoid those store shampoos because it just leaves this kind of filmy layer on top of your wig because it's trying so desperately to get into the individual strands that don't have any way to get into it. So that is the biggest thing. Personally, what I do when it comes to washing my wigs is I fill my bathtub with water. Normally a lukewarm water because you're going to stick your hands into it. And I will lay the wig in first, swish it around, and I like to make figure eights. And then I will lift the wig up. I will put normally about a capful of the baby shampoo or the wig shampoo, and I will kind of rub it into the wig. And then I do figure eights in the bath again and again and again and again until I feel like it's clean. I might change the water in the bath depending how many wigs I'm washing at the same time, and then lay it flat on a towel to dry. Now, synthetic wigs do take a lot longer to dry because it's plastic and you don't want them anywhere near heat because, again, it's generally a plastic material, but that's the way to wash it. It's a very simple, straightforward. I normally do a similar process with human hair wigs, but using a shampoo. And I find it's just easier. You don't really want to put on the wig and then try and scrunch it because it's a very difficult process to do while wearing. I find it's a lot easier, drawing those figure eights. I've done it in sinks. Bathtub is definitely easiest if you have one because you've got that flow of water working with you.
So on those lines, I've seen like wig restore services. Where somebody will restyle the wig and, whatever, they wash it and of course care for it and all that jazz. Is that really necessary or is that something that you could do at your own home?
So it comes down to how much you love the wig and how damaged is the wig. Yes, they will reset styles and things like that, which if you have that big 1980s hair that you really, really love and, it was a custom made wig and it fits to your head beautiful, but it just needs a new style, then definitely something like that will be a good investment because you're going to get that value out of it. But if it's a regular store-bought wig and it's just, you need to wash it, maybe brush it out a little bit more, let it dry, you don't need to go that route. Generally, to me, a restoration service is when, your wig is in really good condition, but something happened to say this section right here, and they need to go in and re-sew that section of hair into that wig. So they need to replace a section because it got too close to the oven door and it fried up or something like that. Honestly, I do find most wig restoration purchases to go down that route. It's more expensive than what most wigs cost. So it's probably easier just to replace the wig.
I'm sure.
Well,
sure.
I've got a question. The wig that I described earlier, they permanently set the style in.
Yeah.
And they said that they could go and restyle it, but it's a special process, I guess, or something. And I'm wondering about that because they said you can go wash it, let it dry and brush it out or comb it out, and it will restore back as a memory. It restores back to what it originally was cast as. Can you recast something to a more modern style?
So essentially what that is kind of describing in the instance of human hair is it's like getting a perm. So they've permed it into the straight, cute little bob, or they've permed it into the ringlet curls, and that's how it's created that shape. So, and you'll